Okay, so I just want to say, first of all, we say Good Yom Tov in Chabad today is a Yom Tov, known simply as Hey Teves, which means the fifth of Teves, which is what this day is. It's actually a day which appears in Tanakh. There are very few dates given in Scripture for anything, and the fifth of Teves is one of them. It's a day when God appears to the prophet Yecheskel in a divine revelation. So what happened on this day in 1987 is that you all know the story. The grandson, the only grandson of the previous Rebbe, took books from the previous Rebbe's uh, library, very valuable books, early editions and manuscripts, and sold them on the market. He needed money. And at the end, it was brought to the federal court. The issue at hand was quite simply this: who is the previous Rebbe, or really, who is or what is a Rebbe? So the grandson said, well, the Rebbe is like everybody else, he's an individual, but he lives a public life, and he's an individual devoted to the public. The previous Rebbe was a man of self-sacrifice. His story written up in many books in Russia and in Poland. Defied the Soviet authorities, was sentenced to be shot. Continued what he did, despite that, even in incarceration, strengthening and spreading Judaism. His whole life was on absolute self-sacrifice. It was on the altar. As a child already, his stories are profoundly inspiring and moving. Even as a child, he defied the authorities in defense of his fellow Jew. Attacking a policeman was unfairly beating a poor hapless Jew, for which he was thrown into jail as a child. Started then. Throughout his life, he was arrested many times and faced the firing squad, and by the grace of God was released, but beaten severely by the Russians. Self-sacrifice. He's a leader extraordinaire. So the grandson said, yeah, he's a great leader, but it doesn't change the reality that first and foremost he's a private individual, and he has an estate and he has books, and I'm a grandson. I'm entitled to at least part of it. And the judge ruled it's not true. It's not so. A Rebbe is not a private individual. His whole identity is the people. His whole core is the people, and therefore the books and manuscripts from which he drew his inspiration to be the great leader that he was belong to the people because they're integral to him and he belongs to the people. Extraordinary ruling. The root of it all really is that Jewish people are one. They're not like everybody else that are connected by historic or familial or ideological ties or tribal ties or location, nationalistic ties. The Jewish people have a mystical bond that transcends borders, culture, and even the body. They are all one at the core, and the Jewish leader embodies that oneness. That's really what the court ruling is. So it's a very profound ruling, and it's all a preparation for Mashiach's coming, my dear friends, because that's what the world is clamoring right now. You're different than everybody else, and you're all one. That's a very deep truth, and that's something we need to embrace and reveal, and then the world will be at peace with us, with itself, and Mashiach will come. Messianic year is a time when the whole world will celebrate and acknowledge and celebrate and participate in this deep truth that all Jews are one with each other, one with God. That's the Messianic era. In the words of our sages, it'll be the great wedding between God and every Jew, and the whole world is invited and participates and celebrates this wedding. That's the Messianic era. And this court ruling laid that bare. You Jews are all one. And that's embodied in a true Jewish leader who lives that consciously and seamlessly. And he lives that oneness. For us, it's deep within our heart, and it stirs when we're under attack. Unfortunately, usually it's only under negative circumstances that this oneness emerges. But a Jewish leader, that's his identity, and that's what he strives to nurture, not instill, it's there, but nurture within each one of us. So that's today, the 5th of Teves. Okay. Now, and therefore good Yom Tov, and we must conclude with the Rebbe's instructions or urgings that on this day, everybody buy Torah books. It all came down to the books, the holy books that he took. So in celebrating our victory, we should buy books and of course, study them. Men, women, and children. You do this online. You see Robert, you see the post Levi posted on the Fabrengen chat. Everybody sees it. And it's easy to online this is from one particular, this is from Chabad's publishing house, Kahot. But any Torah book from anywhere qualifies a real celebration on this day.